What is up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight to continue our lake breakdown series for Lake Eufaula out in Oklahoma. We have done several videos on this. If you've missed them, just go out, check out the lake breakdown playlist. You'll be able to see all the stuff from Google Earth. We finally got the Google Earth breakdown stuff done. We did one video on the offshore side for the northeast portion of Eufaula, and this will be number 2 video for the offshore side up in that northeastern section. So tonight, let's go check it out, see what we can find from offshore. I'm sure we're going to put you on some big ones. Let's go. Let's go ahead and jump back in here to Lake Eufaula. If you missed the previous videos, like I had mentioned, we've done a ton of them for Lake Eufaula. This is actually our second offshore video that we're actually doing. This would be for the Eufaula East section. So anything east of Highway 69 here and north of, I can't remember that highway, I think it was like Highway 9 or something like that. Anything east and north of that is going to be considered the Eufaula East. So let's zoom in here and let's talk about where we'll start right where we ended last time. And that was right here off of this point. Let me zoom back, kind of show you where I'm at. Here's the dam. So I'm coming up here. We covered all of this last time. Then we came back around and we got right to here off this point. And this is where we're going to start at. So why we marked this point? Well, check out this point. Check out the contours on this point. It really looks good. It's got a nice, it's almost like a little secondary point off of this main huge point that's out here, so that would definitely be a good one to take a look at. Let's keep zooming up, see what else we can find. Now, you guys have heard me talk about saddles a lot, and I don't know how deep this gets. This may not be deep enough to take advantage of it, but anytime you have these saddles like this, or these pinch points that are here, a better saddle is usually like between two islands. So you might have an island here, or between an island and the land, and that would be considered the saddle. I also kind of see this as being a saddle as well. And because of that, I think this would be a really good area to go check out, but it's really all going to depend on how deep it is in that area. Let's keep moving down because we're really talking offshore here. As we get down here, this starts to look pretty interesting right down in here. Notice we've got a creek bed coming through here, right here. And then through that creek bed, we got several different good looking things that you could fish. One, you could fish this point, so you could get out here off the edge of this point closer towards this creek bed. They could be out here closer towards the main river channel. They could be over here on one of these points as well. There's a good ledge there too. If I zoom in here, you'll see it. Really good ledge right there. It goes basically from like 3 feet to 21 feet in a hurry, in a really big hurry. This point looks good too. So a good little feeding point. And then if you go up and you get in the back of this, notice that little creek channel swing that's right here. So here's the creek bed coming in, and then it swings and it hits right here, and it creates some really good stuff. I'd imagine there's probably some underwater debris, just no telling what you might find in that area. So I'd definitely go and check that out, at least do some scanning, see what you can find there. Let's keep moving down. Next pocket's gonna be this one right here. Now this looks like an old pond, and the reason why I say that is because of this right here. This looks like a potential old pond dam, and sometimes you can find them in areas like this where it comes up high like that. They'll be right off the edges of the sides. So you want to look there. I didn't put a point there, but definitely this dock back here looks really, really good. Just based on the fact that it looks like an old pond and it's a very isolated dock. So you want to go and look at that one for sure. Let's zoom back out. I'll show you where I'm at. There was the turn. We went down there. We went inside that pocket. Now we're going to come down here, and we're coming into this bigger one that's here as well. Let's make sure that I didn't skip a pocket there. That's the dock that we went through, and now we're going to come down. Now we're going to go into this pocket right here. Sorry for the scrolling. So as we come in here, really there's just 2 spots here that I marked for you. And again, I'm not going to be able to mark every single offshore hotspot for you on Lake Eufaula. That would be a billion different spots, and it'd take us forever to go through. I'm marking more the higher percentage stuff, the stuff that I would more than likely look at if I was out there and I only had a few days to fish. These are, to me, the higher percentage areas I would look at. So right here for sure, off of this point, I love how this point comes out. There's probably riprap here and stuff like that. Got a good drop and got a creek bed really close to it as well. And then over here, kind of the same thing. You've got the 2 creek beds merging right here. So this could be a good point up here in the upper left-hand corner. but also the edge of that dock. If that creek bed comes down and swings at all close to the outside edges of that dock could be a really good dock to be taking a look at as well. So I'm going to zoom this back. We're going to move on up. We're going to look out here more on, this is more main lake stuff. And really when you look here, there's a couple different things here. There's a little secondary point here. And this is kind of the inside of the turn. The point really should be more like right here on the inside of the turn. But you've also got this point that's here as well. And then you've got a really nice shallow area that comes up like this and gets really shallow right in here. And that can be a really good place to find them too, like especially right on the edge right here of this point. And you've got the main river creek channel right here. I don't know if it's the main one, but it's a very big one for sure. So let's go ahead and move up, see what else we can find. Going up here, going into this next area. The first thing is right off this point. This looks pretty juicy. You've got a roadbed right here, as well as a very sharp drop off the edge of this point. Probably rocky. My guess would be this is going to be a good one. Really good spot to go look for. Let's keep moving on up, see what else is back here by these docks. Really, it's fishing between the docks, and that's what we really wanted to mark for you. There's a roadbed that's right here. You can see it coming up. There's the roadbed, and it's just really hitting those areas of those roadbeds. Feel like those would be some pretty high percentage ones, but I'd probably fish that entire roadbed through those docks. It looks like it could be very productive. Let's keep moving up, see what else we can find. Now we're going to get over here into this one that has a little more fingers. See what else we can find up here. There's not too much from an offshore perspective, but there are two little spots here that I really like. So one is going to be right here off the edge of this point, and then the other one is going to be right here where this point comes out and kind of tapers off. So now I'm going to move over, and I'm going to come up here into this pocket. And when I get to the very back of the pocket, the only thing that we wanted to mark for you guys here was this dock. And the reason why is because this dock is literally setting right on top of a creek channel or a creek bed. So anytime that happens, you want to fish that dock. You want to pay some attention to that dock. Actually, that little one right here, this one could be good too. So if this one's good, this one's probably good as well. Heck, they may all be because they're just so close to that creek bed. But definitely some place that you'd want to go check out. Let's keep moving down. As we move down, we didn't see too much in these pockets from an offshore standpoint. As we get further down here, we are going to start seeing some goodness, and that's right here off of this point. So if you look right off the point, there's a couple things here really I think you should check out, but this is the main one that we wanted to mark for you. And because if you look at this point, it comes out here and then it just drops. I mean, 28 feet. It goes from basically 19 feet to 28 feet immediately. So there's a big sharp drop right off the edge of this point. And if I pull back, you're going to see that it's really, I mean, it's pretty main lake. It's about as main lake as it gets. So that's definitely going to be a good point to go check out. The other thing I wanted to show you in here, which we didn't have marked, but I would come over here. I know this is deep, but check out this pond and just see if anything's relating to this pond, especially in the summertime. And just see if you see any activity in those areas. Sometimes those can be secret little gems that you find that no one really pays attention to. All right, so let's keep scrolling down. We're getting down here to where it starts getting into more of the tighter area where that little pinch point is. But again, another really good point right there. As we move on down, we're getting more. Now we're on the main river channel. And as we get on the main river channel, you're always looking for places where a fish could hide or get break or, you know, get away from the current just a little bit, be close to the current, but be far enough from the current where they're not having to set in it. And this is a really good area for them to do that at, right here around these islands. So anything that you can find here around these islands where you can get away from the current, obviously that's going to be good. Now, anything on the inside of this island, the outside, all this, you know, scan around this area. There could be debris that's piled up in here. There could be underwater brush, all of that good stuff. This is going to be a hot spot, and you're going to want to pay some attention to that area. As we move up here, we get out here, we just get into another little point. This one's kind of funky looking on Navionics, but definitely a good looking point. You can tell it comes out pretty far out here. It gets fairly close to the river channel out here, but a really good point. Tapers off pretty good. Nice little feeding table. Something to look at also would be over here. You come over here and you've just got these nice little contours. I mean, this is very sharp edge. So you've got a really sharp edge here, and then this is where it starts to taper off. And you've heard me talk about this in the past, like especially on bluff walls, and this may not necessarily be a bluff wall, but it's definitely a very steep wall. But anytime you get those walls, if you go to the very outside edge of them, right where they start to kind of turn into more of a flat, or where the contours, where they're really, really tight, and then right when they start to expand out, those are typically better spots for me. And so right here, that's what we've got marked here. You've got those tighter contours, and that's coming right off those contours. All right, so and the other thing is too, you're on a river channel swing, so that makes it a lot higher percentage of an area. Let's go on down. We're gonna come over here, we're gonna get down away from that point. We're gonna come to this next point, just a main lake point. It's just there. You know, I don't know what else to say about it, but definitely something you want to fish, because if you look, you've got river channels meeting right there in the middle. There's lots of good stuff going on here. And let's zoom in here. We've got another little creek bed that comes up in here. Just pull that down a little bit. And as you come down that creek bed, you want to fish that little hump that's right in there, right? Or at least scan there and see if there's anything there. But as you come back here, here's a really deep spot. You got a good point that's right here, and then a really good deep bank that's right here on this side, with that creek bed coming into it. So this just all looks juicy. That area right in there, that main lake point right there, and then that backside, both of those look really good. Let's keep moving up, see what else we can find. Another one of these just little points that come out, very subtle points, but those can be very productive points. And if you look, you've got some flooded timber. So if you've got some flooded timber in here and you've got a little point here, that could be a good spot to go look at and at least see if anything's, you know, attracted to that area. Let's go ahead and move up. I'm trying to see how much farther we can go before we need to cut this off. We'll go a little bit further and then we'll probably cut it off. But as we move up here, this is where it starts getting a little more, I guess I would say, offshore-ish. You know, we're getting a little bit further out because this is pretty far out. But if you look out here, you've got a nice little 20-foot hump that's out here. And you've got a creek bed that goes in between them. So that's going to collect some fish at certain times of the year. And then over here, you've got this main lake, almost like a flat, but it's more of a point that comes off, but it's got all kinds of juiciness. Over here, you've got a hump that's at 13 foot. You've got the outside of this point that's getting really close to these creek beds. That can be productive right in here. This can be productive, that saddle between the two of them. That could be a good area as well. This entire flat that's up here could be good. You've also got ponds. You got pond dams that could be in there as well. You've got some exploring. If you're out on Eufaula, this is going to be one of those areas that I would spend some time in, scanning around, seeing what you can find. And if you can find the fish, you're probably gonna be able to stay with them quite a bit, because they're just gonna go from here to here to here to here to here to here all year long, and you'll be able to stay with them. So spend some time here. This may be a good spot for you to really get on some fish. All right, let's move on up. Let's see what else we got in the back of this thing. Actually, before we do that, since we're right there, I'm going to pull back and just show you where I was. So I came across that point and I was right here when I was talking about that being a good area to look at, right in here into this first pocket. So let's go back, see what else we got in this pocket. One, we got some offshore stuff here. I believe these are rocks and things that you can take a look at least that's what they have it marked. I went and checked on Google Earth, and it does look like there are some good rocks there. And then as you move over here and you get back here by these docks, these docks are really deep. Number one, they're 12, 13 foot, but there's some brush piles that are back there too, supposedly. So I went ahead and mark that one for you guys. We're gonna get further out, come back out more main lake. There's your main lake point. You always wanna fish those. There's another main lake hump at 21 foot. That might be a really interesting one to go look at. Probably doesn't get beat up as much as some of those other ones. And then if you look right here, this has potential. Right here, you've got the river channel swing. So right in here off the edge of this big, huge flat that comes out here, a point, whatever you want to call it, there could be stuff right here that you just wouldn't even think to look there. But you want to, because it can wash stuff up into these areas, especially like right in here. So look in here, but then also right over in here, right where you have that marker, that's a good looking spot, because it's the first kind of deep spot before you get up here into this more shallow water. As I move further up, if you look out here, you've got some underwater humps that are out here as well. There's actually 3 of them. I went ahead and just marked both sides. I figured you'd see those on the graph and realize what I was trying to mark for you here. But you're gonna need to scan that whole entire area. But look at this, you got a pond, you've got creek beds, you got all kinds of good stuff going on both sides of those humps. So it's got to attract fish, I would imagine. Let's move on up. We get up here, another good river channel swing. So you got the creek bed here, or creek channel swing. It's swinging up, and then this is the very edge of that point. Those are always good spots to look at. So we've got that one marked for you too. Moving on up, let's go ahead. We'll stop right here at this point right here, so that way we'll continue on. But we talked about that river channel swing. This is just a little mark from where it goes into that bay, but it's on the inside edge of that point. Again, those are higher percentage areas, so you'll want to look there. You may also want to just come over here. I know that creek bed looks like it's way over here, but if there's any chance that it comes over and gets close to this could turn this into being a really good point. So you'll probably don't want to bypass that point. The next little point that comes out though, it looks like it could be productive as well. 16 foot, nice little flat top, really, really close to the creek channel, like extremely close. And then let's go ahead and do one more. Let's talk about this little dock that's back here. As you come back here, you're gonna notice there's a really good drop going on right here on the edges of these docks, especially this one. So we went ahead and marked that one for you guys so you can take a look at that. And then let's go ahead and stop there. We're gonna stop back here wherever it says Marina. I'm gonna go ahead and change this little marker right here to a different color so we're not lost next time. And when I come back, we're gonna continue on the Lake Eufaula East section. Hopefully we can get the east part done maybe on the next video, possibly. That would be great. And then we'll move on. We'll talk about the northwest side and then the south side and wrap this lake up. So until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB. Make sure to go out, check out simplisticfishing.com. We've got all of these waypoints plus the Google Earth waypoints that we've been talking about. We have all of those available to where you can put them on an SD card, plug them into your graph, and off you go. It will change the way you fish. It will help you pattern the fish, especially. It will just make a huge difference in what you're doing out there. So go check it out, simplisticfishing.com. Until next time, hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.